Hello, sports fans. Today is December 14th, 2023, and we are live from Robert Frank Gymnasium here in Bloomington, Illinois. It is a crisp 40 degrees outside as we see the Bloomington Purple Raiders take on the visiting crosstown rival Normal West Wildcats in what's sure to be an interesting matchup. Bloomington comes into this matchup at 4-6, losing their last matchup against an excellent squad in Peoria, Notre Dame, and they hope to snap their current 3-game losing streak against Normal West, who have won their last two matchups, most recently against Champaign Central, with their record currently sitting at 4-7. On behalf of Clutch Sports Media, we are glad to have you here tonight. I am Harvey Newcomb, and joining alongside me is the one and only Jonathan Michael. And John, who is one player to watch out for?
I was going to pause for our national anthem.
Apologies for the interruption there, folks. Pause for the national anthem.
Hey, snuck up on us, but obviously didn't want to be talking through the national anthem. Never want to do that. But yeah, Harvey, glad to be here in the booth. You should be a good Big 12 game here between Normal West and Bloomington. Crosstown rivals, big-time Big 12 girls basketball.
Big 12 conference especially, well known here in Central Illinois. Now, these two squads have met once this season already, last on November 18th, with Bloomington taking that one 52-29. Yet here these teams sit with similar records, and Normal West is on an upward trend, while Bloomington is trending on the other side of the coin.
Yeah, certainly. Normal West, they had a little bit of a slow start to the season. They were 1-7 after their first 8 games, but they've won 3 straight, including conference wins over Manual and most recently Champaign Central back on Saturday. So Wildcats are starting to pick things up. They have a very young squad this year that's, started to kind of learn the ropes of varsity basketball. Bloomington, on the other hand, they've shown some good flashes so far this year as the lights go out here at the Robert Frank Gymnasium. But Bloomington, they won 2 games in the inter-city tournament. That game against Normal West that you mentioned, Harvey, as well as Normal U-High. They've also beaten Metamora and Jacksonville this year and played some pretty good teams. So I think we should see a good ball game here at the Robert Frank Gymnasium. Very cool, very fun arena to be in.
And both teams definitely battle-tested here as we creep into the middle part of the season here. They've gotten through the early part of the season where a lot of things such as team chemistry and cohesion as well as game plan, strategy, coaching, all of that have now been figured out. And I think this is when the real basketball starts.
I think so, yeah. Right around Christmas is kind of when you start to kind of, work the kinks out, iron out some details and everything. And, both teams are going to be playing some holiday tournaments here coming up. Always want to, show out well in those. So, both teams will be playing the State Farm Holiday Classic right here in town, which we'll also have at the end of the month here on Clutch Sports Media. So a little bit of a preview for that, and also gives us a chance to see some good Big 12 girls basketball. We see a lot of it, great Big 12 girls action in Peoria, obviously with Peoria High and PND, but also getting to see Normal West and Bloomington as well.
Talking about PND, they played against Bloomington Normal for Bloomington High in Bloomington High's last matchup. In quite a game, bit of a lopsided affair. However, I do not think that is indicative of Bloomington's play. As we are off in this game, So we have an early giveaway there.
Yeah, and talking early about what some keys to the game for Normal West were. The first time these two teams faced off, that win for Bloomington. Normal West, they need a hot start. They were down 18-6, so usually you don't want to see 6 points on the scoreboard for your team at halftime. So I got to get them out to a quick start. Also for them is also don't turn the ball over. The Purple Raiders did a fantastic job of forcing Wildcat turnovers. They came away with 17 steals. Outside these two teams played, it looks like Bloomington's going to keep with possession here.
Bit of a slower start to the games. We're currently 30 seconds in. No score from either team. So we have Bus, the junior, into rebound for the Purple Raiders. Got a foul on that play. Embry's going to be going to the line, shooting 2.
And Embry, a big post presence for Purple Raiders, a sophomore center standing at 5'10". Both these teams are pretty young, Harvey. Bloomington has just one senior out of the 10 players listed on their roster. Meanwhile, Normal West has just 2 on theirs, so pretty young teams both of these are, as Embry goes 1 for 2 at the stripe.
Under normal circumstances, these teams would be in rebuilding years, considering the youth on their roster. However, both of these teams are still trying to compete game in and game out. As we see a foul on the other end, we're going to have free throws, this time for Normal West. Smith going to the line. 5'4" guard for Normal West. Hits the first one, tying the game up at 1.
It's kind of an occurrence in basketball you don't see too often, is basketball games that are tied at 1. I think free throws could be a defining factor here tonight. Obviously, as it is every game, you always want to hit your free throws, but, crosstown rivals going to be a physical game. We see Normal West, they've already brought out the press here, so trying to get them to speed Bloomington up and play some physical basketball.
Unfortunately, Shuey lost that one out of bounds. That's going to be another early turnover in this game. As you see the Wildcats take over with Birch. Out to the corner. Now in the post, and that's going to be another change of possession there. Looked like Upton lost that one. Might have been pushed, but we got an early timeout there from Bloomington. 6:56 left, and this looks like maybe it could be a low-scoring affair, but it's still very early.
Yeah, true. Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of flow to this game so far. A lot of, just balls going out of bounds and, fouls and things of that nature. But looks like Bloomington, after calling the timeout, they're just talking some things over, probably trying to figure out how to, get past this Normal West press. And for Normal West, I think there's different ways you can run a press. There's not, certainly just one way to do it. So I think, you have to be aware that, hey, Bloomington is probably going to try and draw something up to figure out the one that we brought just now. Now let's try and bring out a different type of press. Looks like they're going to kind of go to a little bit of a diamond set here.
Shuey bringing the ball up, able to cross half court. Hits Leonard. Back out to Shuey at the top. Pulls up, but that one's going to be blocked by Smith as Wildcats come down the floor.
Yeah, DeGina Smith just came out of nowhere, came flying in for that block.
Birch with a bit of a runner, and that one goes in. The first made field goal from either team, and it's 4-1 Wildcats.
Yeah, Birch is going to be a player to watch for Normal West, one of the few varsity returners that they have, a senior guard for them. So they're going to be counting her a lot this season as Rose goes with the up and around, and the putback is good, but Rose on Bloomington's side, she's their player to watch. Their leading scorer so far this season and the only senior on this Bloomington team.
She's definitely going to have to take over that position of leadership while simultaneously providing the play that we expect of her and her teammates expect of her as well. So there's a bit of a scuffle under the basket as Smith swishes that one. Nothing but net there, as it is now 7-3.
Well, I tell you, I can't get more prettier than that. I mean, That one was 100% nylon, and Smith putting together a good game early on both ends.
Bloomington coming up with it. That shot's going to be off by Buss. So you see the Wildcats coming down the floor. Goes up with it, and that one's no good. And that's going to be out of bounds. Last touched by the Raiders. The Wildcats are going to get another inbound play. Over to Smith in the corner. Now for the dodge. Back to Upton. Smith again.
Nice
Smith
hit.
lost that one. And that's
Good
going to be Leonard coming up with the steal. As Leonard drives down the floor. That's going to be foul, possibly a block there.
I think that was on the floor there, but great hands there from Leonard. You know, just great reflexes, honestly. You know, she just kind of saw that Normal West was going to pass and just stuck her hand out there instinctively and got it out there. So 2 fouls already early on for Normal West.
That one's going to go off the bottom of the backboard. I think that might be a turnover when it hits the bottom like that.
Yeah, it certainly is. That's considered out of bounds, even though if you drew a straight line from straight down, you would be inbounds, but if you're at the bottom of the backboard, it counts as going, almost like going over the backboard sometimes. So that's certainly a unique turnover, one that we don't see too often.
Meanwhile, on the other end, we have a travel from Dodge, as the Raiders are going to get the ball right back. A lot of teams having to go through the early game jitters.
Yeah, a little bit, and a little bit of a slow start. Nice spin move there from Shuey, but I think once both these teams kind of get going a little bit, there'll be a little bit more flow to this game and everything. And again, you just have to remember, you know, two of probably some of the youngest teams in the entire conference playing, so it's a great experience for them. You know, I think we're gonna see a very even matchup. Two pretty similar teams here tonight.
Leonard drove down the baseline and airballed that one. Oh, what a pretty pass from Rose, but unfortunately Embry unable to finish that one. As we see Dodge in the corner now. To Birch, now down to Patton. Back out beyond the arc. That one's going to be no good. Unfortunately for her.
That was Kylie Wilson there. And her shot looked very similar to Smith's three ball just a couple slants to go. Just a couple rotations too short. Revolutions, if you want to sound really scientific.
Basketball is a game of science, though, as these past few years have shown with advancements in sports science. As you see, the Wildcats have a 2-on-1, and that one's going to be a made shot by Wilson. Dodge picking up the assist on that one, as they're going to go back to a bit of a lighter full court press, but a full court press nevertheless.
Yeah, certainly, and you know, going back, it doesn't take much science to decode that easy layup there for Normal West. You know, defense leads to offense, and an easy bucket there for the Wildcats.
Buss there waited about a half a second too long to get that one up, as that's going to be another change of possession in favor of the Wildcats. Some substitutions on both sides here. Not many substitutions have been made so far. We're almost 5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, not many. Again, you know, both these teams being young, you figure that, yeah, we were setting up during the JV game. We're paying 100% attention to it, but it's, you know, safe to figure that, you know, some of these players, some of their bench, maybe, you know, still trying to rest up from the JV game, which happened just before this. Normal West won that one, by the way, in case you're wondering, 36-14. Again, you know, overall, I mean, you know, these teams aren't too terribly deep. You know, Bloomington only carries about 10 girls on their roster. Normal West just a couple more.
With some of those players aren't necessarily suited up either. Do have a substitution coming in. Johnson entering for Normal West.
Johnson, a freshman, one of 5 on Normal West roster. Excuse me, look at Johnson's shoes. He got 1 pink and 1 green. Big fan of that. It reminds me of like sweet tarts or candy of some sort.
Say that as Embry misses a few there, but then it's ultimately picked up by Rose. Staying on the glass as she picks up the points. So the Wildcats come down the floor, taking it a bit of a slower pace. As Birch drives into the lane, uncontested, but that one gets tipped by Embry. As we see Skeet entering the game for the first time, seeing her first bit of action as her pass gets tipped. Shuey got hacked there. I could hear that smack from here.
Yeah, Normal West has played a pretty physical game so far. I mean, and that's a good thing. You know, obviously, you have some fouls to give still. You know, Bloomington not in the bonus just yet. Again, now you only need 5 per quarter to reach the bonus. I feel like a broken record mentioned that on all of our broadcasts so far this year. But, you know, for the viewers that, you know, or maybe still, you know, don't know about that new rule change, which is a national rule change brought on by the National Federation of High Schools.
A miss there from Leonard as it's going to be picked back up by Skeet after it was bobbled. Skeet looking down low, back into Rose. Rose on 2 defenders is going to be fouled. Initiated the contact there, and it's going to award her with 2 free throws.
Yeah, good aggressive there from Rose. I like that. You know, knowing that Normal West has, you know, 3 fouls, either, you know, you either make them draw their 4th or you make them, you know, kind of ease up a little bit in the paint and allow you the easy bucket. So see what she can do here from the line.
Unfortunately, a miss on the first one. So the game will stay 9-5 in favor of Normal West. Just a minute 28 left to go in the first quarter. A lot of stoppages of play so far. So we see Rose unfortunately miss the second one, coming up empty there. As Wilson rushes down the floor, but a bit of an errant pass. It gets tipped by Leonard, but it's going to stay Normal West.
And that was almost a turnover there for Normal West. Obviously, it's easy to just kind of see a wide open teammate way down the court and say, hey, let's chuck it down there and let him make a play. Thankfully for the Wildcats, they got tipped by a Raider. They're going to pick up a foul here.
Patton triple teamed on that one, but still stayed with it. And then she's going to be rewarded as well. So it looks like she might be having a bit of a conversation with her coach.
Just looking at her.
Darylyn Dunn.
Look at her hand. It's like she looks like she got cut a little bit. They're going to try and wipe some blood off of her, and looks like they're going to
meanwhile
someone else shoot free throws.
I was going to say she was the free throw shooter, but looks like they're going to continue to progress with the game as Smith knocks down the first one. Free throw shooting, a very important part of basketball at any level, but especially at high school when games can sometimes be decided by just a few missed free throws.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I've already seen plenty of games this year on Clutch Sports Media that have came down to free throws. So far, Normal West faring a little bit better in that department. And like we talked about before the game, you know, hot start was big for them. Had just 6 points at halftime last time these two teams faced off. Well, now they've already doubled that in twice as less time. So far, so good.
Bit of an off-foot runner from Shuey goes in. The Wildcats do not hesitate to race down the floor. That one's going to be taken away.
That was Rose getting that turnover there, and watch her on the post up. Let's see if she goes to work.
Rose spinning around. She gets doubled. And that's going to be a travel on Shuey. Shuey, the sophomore guard, assuming most of the ball handling duties for Bloomington here. As we see Wilson on the other side getting trapped in the high backcourt. That's going to be another travel.
Back to back, nice pressure from Bloomington on back-to-back possessions. You know, Raiders really trying to clamp down on defense a little bit and see if they can hold for the final shot. So they're going to call a timeout.
It's going to be another timeout called here. 24 seconds left in the game. Normal West up 11-7, just 4-point lead. They're ahead by more earlier, but Bloomington has shown that they're not going to let Normal West pull away early, and that may be indicative of how the rest of this game is going to go.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to see a pretty close game here, and both these teams have played some close ones so far. Normal West, they lost a game by 1 to Pontiac earlier this year, so that was a tough loss for them. They've also had a pretty close win against Rochester and Manual, and then look at Bloomington as well. They had a narrow win over Metamora, 40-43. So that's a big win for the Purple Raiders. Obviously, Metamora in the middle line, they're a bit down this year, trying to reload the younger group, but that was still a big win, and for Bloomington.
Checking back into the action here, we have Skeet driving into the lane. The left-hander is going to go in as the lead gets cut down to 2. Wilson kicking it over to Johnson. Johnson loses it, but it gets back to Wilson. Dodge with the jumper is going to be no good as the time expires. A close game here in Bloomington as Normal leads by just 2 as we're going to go into a bit of a short break. But we are not going to be leaving you here from Clutch Sports Media. If you're interested in advertising with Clutch Sports Media, don't hesitate to email clutchsportsil@gmail.com for more information.
Certainly, yeah, always looking for people to want to sponsor with us. Again, we're at so many high school basketball games around the area from now pretty much until the end of the season. Last couple of years, for us, I've at least ended at the state finals covering local teams, and I think there's plenty of talent around the area this year. And again, we'll be at plenty of games around the area. Playoffs will be very busy for us, so it only gets bigger from here. And we have plenty of packages available for any budget. Helps get your business out there as well. You can support high school sports and support what we do. Again, not only on the broadcast, but also on the social media side as well. So any businesses, big or small, and feel free to contact us via our website or at the email there on your screen.
And that personalized connection between companies, something that's definitely sought after in the world of business today.
Certainly is. Always looking to find new partners, find new friends around the area, whether it's in Peoria, or Bloomington Normal, or anywhere in between.
Got there's a pass to Dodge at the top of the key. Is going to be another tip by Leonard. One of many tip passes she's already had. And it's just the beginning of the second quarter. Great awareness on defense. Now you have Birch. Made the first basket of the game for Normal West. As Johnson's going to have a lane inside. Looks like she's going to be fouled on the arm there while taking the shot. So that's going to be 2 free throws. The Wildcats looking to extend their lead here after giving up just a little bit of it towards the end of that first quarter.
Yeah, that was a good end of the first quarter by Bloomington, but also Normal West. I was going to say they've thrived from the line. That one missed there, but Johnson will get another attempt. So see if Normal West can win this one from the free throw line. That's where they've been kind of living so far here this evening.
Johnson able to knock down the next one, putting them up by 3. Now here's Skeet. Quick pass over to Leonard. Leonard, the post touch down to Rose. And that's going to be a travel there. As Normal West, they might have gotten bailed out there. It looked like Rose would have had 2 free throws if not for the travel. Got Johnson once again in the paint, bulldozing her way through, but she's going to get knocked over and lose the ball. So you have Skeet here for Bloomington. Down to Rose once again. That's going to be a foul. A push there on Upton.
That was nice feed down there to Rose. A little bit of a rainbow pass, almost straight up and then down to find the Raiders forward again. She's been aggressive so far down low. She's going to get the inbound here.
Fortunately, it goes between her legs, and that's going to be a turnover. As Johnson's going to find Dodge in the corner, but kicks it back to Smith. And now the long three from Birch. That's going to bounce off the backboard and the rim and no good. Patton with the turnaround jumper coming back in after possibly cutting her hand, and that's going to be no good. Skeet gets knocked over and loses the ball. That's going to be Wildcats on the other end, and that's going to be the easy layup from Dodge to give them the lead 14-9.
Yeah, Normal's been really thriving in transition so far tonight, and
that's a bit of a miscommunication, the mental mistake between Shuey and Skeet, so that's going to be a turnover. Bus checks back in for the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, both teams really haven't been able to get a lot going in the half court, or at least many field goals going. That's
a very stop-and-go game so far as Birch misses another three. Shuey able to cross half court. Shuey with the pull-up from just beyond the free throw line, and that one's going to be good. Another shot with nothing but net. So that's going to make it 14-11.
Yeah, nice shot there from Shuey near the free throw line. Anytime you just bring the ball up and step into a mid-range, it just shows confidence that she did right there.
Patton with the court vision making the quick pass to Smith, but that one is going to be no good. And now Skeet is going to have it in the backcourt. Now Shuey out to Leonard in the corner. Leonard driving in, going into two defenders, but she's going to end up drawing the foul.
So they're gonna
no free throws on the play. It looks like it was before the shot.
So they're gonna call that one on Birch for Normal West. That's her first. Smith has got 2 fouls, but no one in that much of foul trouble at this point of the game.
Rose with the turnaround left hook. It's going to be no good. Rebounded by Patton as Birch comes down the floor. Finds Smith. Birch might have gotten fouled there. Ultimately goes uncalled. The corner shot there is going to be an air ball, but Patton picks it up. And that's going to be a travel. The shot was waved off. Looks like she traveled before taking the shot there. Moved her feet a bit too much for the officials' liking, as that's going to be Bloomington ball.
Yeah, that was, looks like she just barely went up and down. She didn't think so, but physical play there.
They're going to call that a jump ball between Shuey and Wilson. Wilson able to get her hands on that one, tried to wrestle the ball away. Ultimately, it was unsuccessful, and the jump ball was called, and it's going to stay Bloomington.
It looks like the possession arrow on our scoreboard a little off there. It is with Bloomington, but now it'll reset back to Normal West. As you look at some of the Big 12 banners here in the Robert Frank Gymnasium. The two teams that are facing off tonight are right next to each other, so
very fitting.
It's pretty convenient.
Just shows the storied history that these two teams have between each other. You were mentioning that crosstown rivalry, the second meeting between the teams this year.
Yeah, these teams play twice every season. I mean, at least twice with the inter-city games, and then obviously their Big 12 matchup as well. And up until this year, these teams also could have faced off with each other in the playoffs as well, both playing in 3A. But now, that's different. Normal as a school, at least for boys basketball, girls basketball, and volleyball, a couple other sports, well, they move up now to 4A with their increasing enrollment. So now they're playing alongside teams like Normal Community and Pekin. The other 4A schools around the area. So the playoffs are going to look a little bit different for the Wildcats. They'll be facing some new foes this time around. And in fact, the subsectional and playoff assignments were released just yesterday. We wrote all about it on Clutch Sports Media Overtime. Have 2 big articles about that. So head on over there to see all the news, all the takeaways, and what it all means for every boys and girls basketball team in the area.
Extensive coverage brought to you by Clutch Sports Media. So we jump right back into the action. And a backcourt violation was called on Bloomington as Normal West is going to be given the ball. Patton coming into the lane and drawing the foul there. as this time she'll actually be able to shoot her free throws.
Yeah, yes, she will. After she got nicked up earlier, but she was all right. Just got taped up a little bit, and she'll be able to get 2 this time.
Patton, senior for this team, just one of 2 on the roster alongside Birch. As Patton knocks down both, making it 16-11. Shuey tries to find Bus, but is unable to. That gets stolen, but a miss there from Wilson on the layup. And there's going to be another jump ball called on the floor in favor of Normal West.
And nice awareness there from Patton. First of all, to jump the pass, and second of all, to get that jump ball, which the Wildcats had the arrow. She's been playing a pretty good second quarter here for Normal West.
Patton blocked from behind by Rose, but she's able to get the ball back. The free throw line jumper is going to bounce no good, and that's going to be off of the Wildcats in favor of Bloomington.
And we're going to get Patton there on the offensive foul call there, trying to go for the board.
Now here's Bloomington. Scored just 2 points this quarter so far. Hoping that'll change for them as Rose draws a foul there.
Has 2 quick fouls now on Patton, who didn't have any until about 20 seconds ago. And she's been really big for Normal West so far. Big paint presence, and really allows them to open things up on offense at both levels. So I'd love to see if she's going to get subbed out or not. But if not, she's got to be pretty careful playing with 2 fouls here with 4 minutes to go in the first half.
Right, she provides Normal West with that inside presence. As Rose set to shoot her second free throw. Knocked down the first one. Unfortunately splits the pair, but they get the rebound back. Rose, the mid-range shot for the redemption is no good, but Embry with another offensive rebound. She puts it up, and it's going to be a call on the floor. Not entirely sure of what it was.
Hey, maybe they were giving a warning of some sort. Nothing ultimately came of it, but I don't know, maybe they were talking to Rose. Maybe she may have tipped the ball after that basket. Maybe delay of game or something like that. Referees just trying to make sure that Normal West can inbound the ball in proper time. Is another foul call here. It's really been hardly any flow to this game, Harvey. I mean, there's been fouls on it back and forth on both sides.
Well, it's not just
of
fouls
the
as
court.
well. It's changes of possession, turnovers, whether that be inbounds or out of bounds, injuries, timeouts, the whole 9 yards, or should I say the whole 90 or so feet.
Yeah, it's a little more than 9 yards, maybe about 30 or so yards, but everyone's getting their money's worth tonight, and if these referees are getting paid by the foul, well, they'll be able to retire early at this point. But I don't think it's less so that they're calling it a tight game. But I think that both these teams are playing, very physical, a lot of looks near the rim. That's led to a lot of fouls so far.
Birch was unable to knock down either free throw on the other end, as Bus misses the jumper, and a bit of a scuffle is going to lead to Bloomington retaining possession. As Normal West lead sits at just 2. Upton and Johnson checking back into the game.
Now with Patton out of the game for Normal West, I think now's the time if you're Bloomington to try and get some looks down low, see if Rose can go to work or possibly Embry down in the post.
You have Skeet on the corner. The spin move and the behind the back, showing some of her moves there. Shuey, could have been a travel there, ultimately uncalled. Bus driving into the lane, and that's going to be a travel. Looks like the ball might have been taken, could have possibly been taken away from her, but they're ultimately going to call her for the walk.
Yeah, and some of these turnovers have been attributed to good defense, but I think some have also just been, self-inflicted wounds, a lot of travels and things of that nature. I haven't really seen any things like double dribbles or anything like that, but just a lot of travels. The feet out of bounds there as this one will go back to the Purple Raiders. Again, they believe, if I'm not mistaken, their only lead was at 2-0 early on. So they've been right there neck
and
and
even
neck
that they were up.
all
Even
game.
that, it was only 1 point that they
That's
had
right.
on the scoreboard.
That's right. It was 1-0. Correct. So that's gonna be a push foul there on Birch. That'll be 5 in the quarter now for Normal West. All of a sudden, Bloomington to the line in the bonus for 2:55, which some games you play 2 minutes 55 seconds isn't a lot. This game, 2 minutes and 55 seconds is quite the long time. So we'll see if the Purple Raiders can take advantage of Normal West being a little bit aggressive.
I wouldn't be surprised if when the game is said and done, the amount of shot free throws compared to attempted field goals might actually be a bit similar.
Yeah, I think we're seeing, every time you get, 2 free throws for every trip to the line versus, obviously every time that you shoot a ball, you're not guaranteed a second one. Now with the elimination of the 1-and-1 in high school basketball, now you're guaranteed 2 every time.
And a lot of these fouls and free throws can be attributed to the physicality of both teams, as we see Birch able to drive into the lane pretty much uninhibited to make that bucket to extend the lead back to 4. It's a bit of an errant pass there. Shui ultimately able to come with it back over to Skeet. Now Leonard on the corner, her favorite spot of the floor, pulls up for the mid-range, unable to get it to go, gets it back, saves it just as it's about to go out of bounds.
Play.
Rose rolls over to keep that one, and we're gonna have a foul call.
Nice.
What a set of events for Bloomington there, able to keep the ball in bounds and in their possession. So that's going to be more free throws.
Yeah, just great effort there from Leonard and Rose, keeping it in bounds. They had the possession arrow. You saw Rose took a tumble, wonder if there would be a jump ball, but they're able to keep the possession arrow pointed in their direction and give Shui some opportunities at the free throw line. So it looks like Normal West was about to get the ball back. Bloomington's going to get some points out of this one.
Knocks down the second one, and that makes it just a 2-point game where we were at the end of the first quarter as well, John. That shot from Birch is a little long. It's going to be rebounded by Skeet. Back to Skeet now. Shui and Skeet playing a bit of a 2-person game there as Leonard gets involved. Leonard's going to kick it back over to Shui. Shui going to find Skeet with a bit of a handoff. Skeet possibly got tripped there.
It looks like she did, so guess what, Harvey? More free throws for Bloomington. Stop me if you heard that one before.
I think their idea with the rule change originally was to make it so that a lot of times the end of the second quarter and the end of fourth quarter weren't just only free throws. But what that's led to is free throws being attempted in both quarters overall. And you have to argue that it maybe messes with both teams' momentum the more stoppages of play there is, and that's why this game might be so even.
Yeah, certainly it does. And, I know there's certain people out there that, obviously I wasn't on the whoever voted to make that. I obviously wasn't a part of that committee. I'm not quite important enough for that. But, I know that they had mentioned, I guess player safety on 1-and-1 free throws. I would say I would like to see the data on that, how many injuries were the result of 1-and-1 free throws. I was a big fan of the 1-and-1. I like, the fact that, if you make your first, you have to, earn your second.
It rewards good free throw shooters
exactly,
while penalizing bad free
and,
throw shooters.
And also, in late game situations when a team's trying to, foul and, maybe try and, gamble that, hey, maybe they'll miss their first, we get the rebound and go back and score. Now the team gets, 2 guaranteed shots, regardless of what happens. So, those games that are kind of close down the wire, teams trying to catch up, it makes it a lot harder for them as well. So I think it makes it a little bit more anticlimactic. Personally, not a huge fan of it, but we'll see. We're still adapting. It's still the first year of that rule change, so.
Right, arguably the 1-and-1 free throw is what makes March Madness in particular so interesting, because it allows for more teams to come back and pull off those upsets that all the fans love to see, and all of the bracketology lovers make their faces red almost.
Yeah.
We'll see how the rule plays out, as this is just in its infancy. That one's going to be out of bounds. Stay with the Wildcats. So we have just 1:19 left in the second quarter and the half, as both teams are also tied at 19. It's going to have a substitution. Farrell checking into the game. The pass to Dodge is going to go over her head. And another stoppage of play and another turnover. As we see 1 second of game clock pass during the duration of that short possession. As we're going to have Skeet come up with it.
Yeah,
Farrell guarding her on the full court press, able to get it to Shuey. Shuey with the quick pass to Embry. Embry with the quick dump down to Rose. Beautiful, crisp passing on that one.
That's it.
As Bloomington has their first lead since 1-0 at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah, that's a textbook press break there. Quick passes, found the open girl down low, and nice job by Embry to finish it off, as I think they're going to get Rose here possibly for a foul on the floor, but Bloomington, they're on a 6-0 run now, got their first lead heading into the intermission.
52 seconds is still enough time for Normal West to retake that lead. As we see Dodge driving down the lane, gets stripped, and that's going to be Leonard going down the floor, bobbles it a little bit, but is going to pick up the and one. But
oh wait, the referees are conferring about something. The basket has been good for now. What a finish there from Leonard in transition and through contact.
After bobbling it as well, able to regain control of possession. Is this a tech?
So there you have a technical on Normal West. So it's been a quarter that's been marred with fouls by Normal West. They've obviously, they're well over the 5-foul limit for the quarter, and now you add the tech on there. I think, not sure who they gave that tech to. It may have been Johnson, the freshman, but again, can't say with 100% certainty, but Leonard not able to make good on the technical free throw, and
that's going to be a double technical.
Double tech, okay. So Birch will get a technical free throw on the other end for Normal West. Man, didn't have that on my bingo card tonight.
It is basketball after all. Anything can happen. As we see Birch knock down both of them, cutting the lead to just 2. Pretty much erasing that basket that Leonard made on the other end.
Yeah, that's tough. Obviously, I don't know who started what. I don't know what went on down there, but if you're Bloomington, and if in fact Normal West maybe incited whatever led to that technical foul, you just gotta let it go, because if you retaliate or do anything back, then you give them an opportunity for 2 technical free throws, then it just erases the great basket that Leonard just made.
Johnson tried to throw that one off of Bus, but was ultimately unsuccessful. Shuey crosses half court, running out of real estate on the baseline.
Oh,
Skeet barely avoids the backcourt violation.
Nice play from Skeet. That was just got across half court by the skin of her teeth.
We see Shuey with the handoff to Bus. Bus driving down the lane. Some contact, but she's able to get that one to go, putting them up 25-21. 2-possession game. Unless Normal West can respond with the basket right before the half. That's Farrell with the missed 3 as time expires. And Bloomington coming into the half with the momentum, able to regain the control of the lead and then some.
Yeah, that was a really strong second quarter from Bloomington. They outscored Normal West 16-10 after Wildcats led just by a little bit after the end of one, but I think it was big for Bloomington was the fact that, Patton was on the bench in foul trouble. I think she's going to be a real big key for the Wildcats here in the second half. So, you got to keep her on the court. You just got to stop fouling if you're Normal West. I know it's been a physical game and everything, but, if you put a team that, it doesn't matter if they're good at shooting free throws or not. If you put them at the line enough, they're going to make you pay eventually. So, I think that'll be big for the Wildcats. But, again, they're still right in this game. They've been shooting the ball pretty well, getting some good looks down low. They've also had a couple of nice shots from the perimeter as well. So we'll see who kind of, takes over in the second half. But it's been a really good, fun first half of action.
Definitely. And talking about kind of the shot, not necessarily disparity, but the selection between the two teams, Bloomington opting to kick it down inside. You talking about taking advantage of the fact that Patton was not in the game. Meanwhile, Normal West not hesitant to sling it from beyond the arc. We saw Farrell with a few attempts. We saw Johnson and Birch with a few. We saw Smith with the beautiful swish at the very beginning of the game, which was what gave Normal the lead. As we have some halftime festivities here.
Yeah, looks like we're in a dance performance here at halftime. Usually you see maybe a cheer team or Palms routine, but solo dance performance. How about that? Don't see that too often, but going back to Bloomington, good shot selection. Their shots, not really chucking up many threes, looking for nice layups and everything. Normal West, they're taking some, maybe not as many high percentage shots, but they've been pounding the paint as well as going around to the perimeter. We'll see what the second half brings after both teams talk things over in the locker room.
If you're interested in advertising with Clutch Sports Media, don't hesitate to email clutchsportsil@gmail.com for more information.
Again, lots of packages available for any budget. We're open to hearing from anybody around the Central Illinois area. We'd be glad to partner with you and your business to help us both grow. I think that's would always can be beneficial. So again, don't hesitate to reach out for more information.
And also don't forget to check out Clutch Sports Media Overtime for all behind-the-scenes action from Clutch Sports Media here.
Central Illinois, we're going to overtime. After 4 years of preps coverage in Central Illinois, Clutch Sports Media is ready for a new era. CSM Overtime.
What is CSM Overtime? We're going beyond the broadcast to give you in-depth coverage of your teams,
Your stories. Your stats and standings.
your highlights and action shots.
With your subscription, you'll get to see news and feature stories from all sports, up-to-date stats from around the area, and thoughtful analysis from our team of experts. As for our broadcast and social media coverage, it's only getting better.
With your support of Clutch Sports Media Overtime, we'll continue to grow our free broadcast coverage with more sports, more games, and more innovation.
And thanks to our partnership with Too Efficient Media, your social media feeds will be filled with Central Illinois' best sights and sounds. CSM Overtime will also give you access to full galleries from some of the most talented photographers and videographers in our region.
As the new season approaches, it's time for more.
More action. More stories.
More coverage of all Central Illinois sports. It's Clutch Sports Media Overtime.
We are back here from Robert Frank Gymnasium here in Bloomington, Illinois. In the middle of halftime here, just about 5 minutes left before we get back into the action. Currently, the Normal West Wildcats are trailing the Bloomington High School Purple Raiders 25-21 here. So we touched on some of the aspects of the game earlier, but coming into, again, the free throw discussion, as we had quite an intensive one, the free throw rule changes have been discussed not just at the high school level or the college level, but at the professional level as well. A proposal a few years back that only made free throw trips 1 shot for 2 points, and that was actually tested in the G League. Ultimately, free throw percentages went down just a little bit, but ultimately didn't make that much of an impact on the game. So we'll see if that gets implemented in pro leagues and trickle down to the other ones. But personally, I think that's a little too radical.
Yeah, boy, yeah. I was gonna say, Harvey, your basketball recollection a little bit fresher than mine. I was gonna say I didn't recall that. I want to brush up on my G League knowledge.
You had to have watched G League basketball in order to get it. Yeah.
There's some hoopers in the G League for sure, but yeah, I mean, I think that'd be a little bit too radical. But then again, you just look at the way a lot of sports are nowadays, especially in the NCAA. You think oh, there's no way that so and so would happen, and we're seeing unprecedented things happen in really any sport. You see it in NCAA, you see it in the world of golf right now, especially, and really all over the place. So we'll see. Again, I'm a big fan of the 1-and-1. I'm a little bit of a traditionalist, but I won't. I don't want to be the old man yelling at the cloud, even though I'm not too terribly old, although maybe compared to some people I might be. But yeah, I mean free throws, like you said, though, been a big difference maker in this game. And early on, I think Normal West, they got to the line a little bit more and shot better. Later on, though, I think Bloomington started to get there, make them pay. So I know for them, Krishana Rose missed a couple, but I think you get there a couple times, you get more confidence. If she gets back to the line, I think good things could be in store for Bloomington here in half number 2.
And despite the fact that she hasn't necessarily been making her free throws, that hasn't led her to shy away from initiating the contact on the offensive end. She's been putting her hand up and backing down in the post, calling for those post touches, confident in herself and in her ability to get the job done offensively. While we've mentioned her name defensively as well, got a key block from behind on Patton right before Bloomington was able to retake that lead. Bit of a turn. You could argue that was a bit of a turning point for the Purple Raiders as they sit with a 4-point lead. But again, we still have another half to play, and anything can happen.
Yeah, definitely. And Normal West, they were feeding the post a lot to Patton, and again, it's you have really no choice but to play physical when Patton has the ball. So we'll see what kind of impact she can have in the game. Again, she's got 2 fouls. I don't think anyone has 3 fouls at the moment, at least for Normal West. For Bloomington, Leonard has 2 fouls as well as Buss. At least that's among their starters that are on the scoreboard right now. So it's something to monitor, if these key players can stay in the game. And, if so, if the key junior or senior fouls out, then you might be throwing in, a big, freshman or sophomore in some high leverage minutes with both these teams being fairly young.
And it's not just the production that you would miss were a junior or senior to foul out. You would also be losing a bit of leadership on the floor. Some of your younger teammates, they're looking up to you to provide them with the advice or the necessary calls on what to do or in any given possession. And losing that might make the team just a tad lost. But for now, neither team really hurting in the foul department too much. Despite there being a lot of fouls, they've been spread out pretty evenly amongst the players, I'd say. I think for Normal West to get back into this one, they had the lead earlier, so they've shown that they're capable of playing efficient basketball for prolonged periods of time. And you're talking about how their looks might not have been as high percentage as Bloomington. However, low percentage looks become high percentage when you start making them.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll see if they can get some shots going from behind the 3-point arc here in the second half. Again, I think obviously a team that is going to shoot, improve their shooting, I think could certainly win. I think it's going to really come down to defense in this one. It's been a defensive battle so far, and we'll see who tightens up here in the second half. But coming up for both these teams here, real quick before the second half starts. We have both teams will be in the State Farm Holiday Classic, which the brackets were just released pretty recently, and we'll get a look at first round matchup for these teams pull these up here. Mistakenly clicked on the large school boys bracket, which normal community right here in town. They're the top seed in there. Normal West, they'll take on Hyde Park right here at Bloomington High School on December 27th. That game at 9:30. Hyde Park, a very good team, and Normal West will take on Hyde Park, excuse me. Bloomington will take on Kankakee, also right here in Bloomington earlier on the 27th. That game at 10:30 p.m. and should be a very fun time. The State Farm Holiday Classic, again, Clutch Sports Media have all 128 games. You can buy your single game or all tournament passes now on our website. So head on over there and maybe a nice little Christmas gift, possibly.
And for the passes for the tournament.
Yes, indeed.
Checking back in to the game here. The second half is off and rolling as we have Bloomington starting off with the ball. Rose in the post, but unfortunately she picks up the travel there. As this is going to be an early turnover in this second half. We're going to have another whistle here. Not quite sure what's happening. And an injury substitution as it looks like Patton is going to come out of the game once more.
She's
not sure for what.
I didn't quite see what happened to her. She's got a little banged up. She's certainly earned her battle scars here tonight.
I mean, that's just almost a given with her play style that she possesses. And Smith, that's her second three on the day. Had one in the first half, one for this half as well. Maybe a sign of things to come for her as the Bloomington lead now just one.
Yeah, DeGina Smith, maybe that's the horse that Normal West rides on for the rest of the night. Tough screen there from Rose, and looks like Bus ran right into her. They're going to travel there, so sure they'll have a laugh about it later, but for now that's second turnover in a row for the Purple Raiders.
And a bit of a preventable one at that. Just maybe a bit of a miscommunication. Rose not sure where Bus was going to go exactly, and it looks like we're going to have an offensive foul going in the other direction. Looks like Upton stuck her hip out a little bit and hit Leonard. Leonard called that one out right away. And that's going to be the foul.
And that one.
No whistle on the inbounds pass as the ref is going to start the count for the backcourt. Bus is trapped. She's going to briefly lose that one. Going to go back into the hands of Embry. Now Leonard driving into the center. Embry with the short shot. No backboard is going to be a miss.
That was a great pass down low to Embry. Just couldn't quite finish it off. Again, another high percentage look for Bloomington off of a really nice feed from Leonard.
And Dodge is going to be fouled by Shuey there as she goes down the floor. But now we're going to have Birch. Just over 6 minutes left. No score from Normal West yet this half, but I'm sure that'll change as Shuey comes up with that one, hits Leonard in stride, but the chase down from Dodge as Leonard is going to hit the deck. Hopefully she is okay. Not sure if her head hit that purple mat on the end of the court, but that's actually going to be off of Leonard and in the hands of Normal West.
The double whammy for Bloomington. I mean, Avery Dodge just said, not in my kitchen. As another turnover for the Wildcats gives it back to Bloomington, but that'll kind of rile up your bench a little bit. It'll kind of rile up your players on the floor as well. So even though Normal West can't capitalize on it, that's a big momentum shifting play, and I mean, quite the block there on Avery Dodge.
Now we're going to have the official talking to someone at the scorers table. Looks like play is going to resume as normal.
The channel of communication between the referees and the scorers table has been wide open so far tonight. Been a lot of talking back and forth between them. So it's just been a little bit of an odd game.
Smith is going to get her shot blocked by Embry. The Purple Raiders able to recover that one as we see Shuey, primary ball handler for this squad, kick it over to Bus. Bus is going to kick it down to Leonard for the long mid-range, and that one's going to be good. Could have stepped out and taken the three, but I think she's more than happy with that bucket.
And that's a really nice shot there from Leonard. You know, one of the least efficient shots in basketball is the long two, but Leonard made it look easy there.
And some players just know how to shoot the mid-range better and make it an efficient shot. Smith with the long three, and she hits that one. As that's going to be her second in the quarter in just a few minutes, third of the game in total. As we're going to see Buss try and come down the floor, stumbles a little bit. The shot's going to be a miss, but Embry with another offensive rebound, and the and one is going to be called. Embry, an absolute beast on the glass for the Purple Raiders, rating the rebound category for this team, as she's going to have the chance for the three-point play.
Yep, and it's been a battle of the 44s down low. Both Embry and Patton both wearing the same number, and Patton now checking back into the game, so she looks to be all right. That's good to see for Normal West.
Unfortunately, the three-point play
Embry's just
unable to be.
Got just 2 points tonight, but as you mentioned, you know, doing work down low, and actually she's matched up with Patton.
The turnaround from Upton looks like it got tipped. That's going to stay Normal West. 4:36 left to go in this third quarter, 29-27 in favor of Bloomington. But that's going to give Normal West the lead. The three from Birch. Not her first three of the game either, as we're seeing the shooting from Normal West start to come alive as Rose is able to fake her out, but a travel will be called in the process. An unfortunate call on the play. We've seen her do that a few times where it looks like she's about to get a good shot opportunity or draw a foul, and then the travel's called, which negates that.
Yeah, I know Christmas is coming up. A lot of folks are looking to get out of town, but you don't want to start traveling just yet. That's something that many people probably have on their minds right now, but just put a hold on it for right now. I've seen a couple of them tonight, but Rose likes that spin move down there in the paint. She's been doing that quite a bit here tonight, but also back to Birchie as well. Normal West really starting to shoot the three a lot more like we talked about during the halftime break. Now Birchie's up to 9. Smith has 11 to lead the team tonight.
And three-pointers have been their only made baskets, as Rose is going to get the long jumper. Looks like they're going to call it behind the line for the three. Bloomington answering back.
A big shot there from your big-time player, Krishana Rose.
Birch with the answer to the answer is no good. Patton coming away with that one, throws it up there and draws the foul. That just shows you how much gravity Patton has and how physical the Purple Raiders are defending her.
Yeah, Patton got the board and figured, well, hey, they're probably going to foul me. Might as well just throw this one up. Looks like she's got a little kind of stitch or bandage there above her eye. Again, she's played a physical game so far tonight, been really big for.
They've elected to go beyond the arc. And that's going to be a backcourt violation. The ref is going to say that Johnson did not tip that one. And that's going to be Normal West ball. Johnson inbounds that one to Birch. Down to Patton in the center. Bloomington collapsing onto Patton. Johnson with the corner three, a bit of a low arcing shot. That's no good. And they're going to say that she stepped out there. That is Dodge with the turnover. As you see, Normal West employing the full court press once again. Able to break it is Leonard. Rose with another deep shot, pushed it, was unable to get it to go. Leonard deciding to take a step in, and that one comes up a bit short as well. And we're going to have some contact on the floor between Birch and Rose. And they're going to call that one on Rose.
That's Rose's third and also the third team foul of the quarter for Bloomington. 2 numbers to keep an eye on tonight. If you're Rose, you really don't want to head into the fourth quarter saddled with 4 fouls. Nice hands there from Leonard.
Unfortunately, Leonard wasn't able to come up with it and gives it back to Birch, who's kind of hanging back in the back court. The good transition defense. Swung over all the way to Johnson, but she's going to be called for the travel there. She maybe got a bit ahead of herself, saw the open lane to the basket, and made the drive. but the travel's been called. Wilson coming into the game for the Wildcats. Dodge coming out. Dodge with the impressive chase down block earlier on Leonard.
LeBron-esque, I might say.
The long three there attempted by Skeet is no good, and a possible fast break opportunity for the Wildcats is ultimately given up as Skeet tried to save that one and keep her foot in bounds.
And she did.
She was able to.
What a play from Skeet. She felt
almost
like
defied gravity.
Almost fell in slow motion there and just almost like stopped her fall right before she crossed the line and kept it with the Purple Raiders.
Rose is going to be double, but she's able to wrap around Patton. No good, unfortunately. You had Embry open on the right block. Could have dumped it to her there, as there's going to be more tumbling action here.
Tumbling, traveling, you name it.
That's to make up for the non-presence of the cheerleaders.
Yeah, yeah, the tumbling. Yeah, no cheerleaders here tonight. Maybe they're already traveling, but the traveling that everyone likes.
Although the fans offering that sense of home crowd volume, that's always been very important, especially for teams playing at home, and Rose is going to get that one to go. Rose just seems to be making the most difficult of shots. No shot too hard for her to make.
No, she's been really good in the post. She's just very lengthy, and she's got very long arms, and allows her to kind of get those up and under those kind of scoop shots right there, and she'll head to the line to complete a 3-point play. She's now up to 10 tonight.
Purple Raiders extending their lead to 4. There's going to be a timeout on the floor. With 1:17 left in the third quarter, Bloomington able to hold on to their small lead.
As it's turned out to be a really exciting game, Harvey, right down the stretch. I think we're going to see more of the same. I think it's going to be a lot of, this game could come down to the final possession or two. Also could come down to free throws. As you get a look at Kenny Clifton, our videographer there with 2 Efficient Media, a big name around the Twin Cities area. Glad that he's on board with us. He'll be shooting some videos there, and look for that on your social media pages. Clutch Sports Media on Facebook and Instagram, and Clutch Sports IL on Twitter. But I think both teams really play well. I think both teams have improved as the game has gone along. I think we're seeing less mistakes from both teams. Obviously, still physicality there, but more shots going down. Seeing a lot of nice cuts. Some nice defensive plays as well, and that's what you just want to see out of these two teams. Again, probably some of the youngest starting fives, or also starting just rosters overall in the entire Big 12 conference.
I mean, based on the way we've seen these players perform, I wouldn't be able to guess that they were freshmen if I did not have the rosters here with me.
And again, Normal West, you got, Kylie Wilson and Hope Farrell. They played a little bit tonight. They're freshmen. Jordy Johnson, who just passed the ball, she's a freshman. And you got Avery Dodge, a freshman as well. And Josie Skeet, a freshman for Bloomington. And also some good sophomores like Leonard and Embry on Bloomington's side.
It's going to be a jump ball there. Directly under the basket, possession arrow in favor of Bloomington. Just going to see Leonard into inbound. Leonard finds Rose for the 3. That would be her second of the day, but that one's no good. As Smith is going to kick it to Wilson. Back to Smith, down in the post to Patton, immediately triple teamed as it goes back out to Smith. Cross-court pass to Birch. Birch driving in the hop step, but she's unable to get that one to go. It's going to stay Normal West, though. In the men's program from Normal West, producing some players who have ended up playing basketball beyond the high school level. Kyler Stork, in particular,
yes,
the overseas player, the alumni, proving to be successful beyond high school.
Nice three ball there from Normal West is, you know, that triple team there that we saw on Patton is going to allow a lot of open shots from around the perimeter, and Normal West is, you know, been a good perimeter shooting team as we've seen here in this third quarter. Now with 9.7 to go, they'll have an opportunity to take the lead after the travel from Rose.
It looks like they're not going to be really in too much of a rush to get the ball up the floor. Maybe content with just letting the clock run out as Patton gets that one off about half a second too late. This is going to be just a 1-point game going into the end of the third quarter. Bloomington still holds the lead, but Normal West not bowing down, staying in the game, chipping away at the lead slowly, as the coaching staff for both teams respectively is going to have a lot to talk about coming into this final quarter. This might be a close one, and it might come down to free throws. You see both teams with 3 fouls each in that third quarter, so the bonus was not in effect for either team. As that resets going into the fourth quarter, it's going to be entirely dependent on the fouls from just that corner.
Yeah, I think so, and you know, it's good to see from both teams, you know, playing physical without fouling. I think that's, you know, any basketball coach will tell you that that's a big key, and also I think for both teams it's going to be able to, you know, defend the perimeter, you know, in a game like this where it's been a little bit of a defensive battle, you know, but offense is starting to kind of emerge. You know, if you can kind of, you know, make either team play like they did in the first half, and it was, you know, more kind of a rock fight, so to say, for lack of a better term.
Maybe some snowballs mixed in there
as
well.
Oh, yeah, I mean, boy, I'll tell you, anytime you threw a snowball and there was some ice in it, that was never fun. But no snow on the ground, though, yet. It's been a warm winter so far in Central Illinois. Been a big fan of it personally, but, you know, I mean, any team that can, you know, defend the perimeter well, I think is going to be big here in this fourth quarter.
Forcing turnovers is a key that will definitely be a point of emphasis for both teams as we go into the final period, because you don't want any empty possessions. You don't want possessions where you're not going to get a shot off, and Patton showing the court vision there, able to hit Upton there for the bucket to give the Wildcats the lead. Just a 1-point lead, but a lead that nevertheless, as Leonard is going to run into Patton on that one, unable to draw the foul. Basketball is a contact sport after all.
Yeah, you saw that brick wall there behind behind the basket. There's also another brick wall there in front of it with Olivia Patton, and that's a really unique venue here, the Robert Frank Gym. It's it's our first ever basketball broadcast here that's not been at the State Farm Holiday Classic. So it's good to come down here and just, you know, really historic venue, kind of the cool, you know, the curvature of the roof. It, you know, kind of makes it almost seem kind of like the old Robertson Memorial Fieldhouse, which used to be back at Bradley, where the Braves used to play in. Nice bank shot there. Also, a little bit almost kind of like the State Farm Center, sort of, down in Champaign.
And the fans are also what makes this stadium the way it is as well. You see fan support from both sides because this is a crosstown matchup after all. And fans of all ages as well. We see some high school students from both sides, some parents, some members of the general public watching some good basketball.
Yeah, this has been probably one of the closer games around the area. We'll take a look and see at the other action. I know there's a big game going on up in Washington, Normal Community. The other Big 12 team from Bloomington Normal taking on Washington. Both of those teams ranked in the top 10 of the AP poll that was just released yesterday.
Leonard able to knock down the pull-up jumper as it looked like Birch maybe twisted her ankle a little bit, walking a bit uneven there down the floor. She's ultimately able to stay up, drive to the basket. The pull-up is no good. She gets her own rebound but gets bopped by Rose. Looked like right in the face.
That, I think, will be Rose's. That would be her fourth foul. 6:13 left. And if you're Bloomington, you may think about subbing her out here, maybe letting her rest for 2-3 minutes to send her back in for the final stretch. But no, they're keeping her out on the floor with 4 fouls. She has got to play very careful.
And what Normal West is probably going to do is start attacking in her direction, and that's going to be a jump ball as we see Skeet and Johnson fight for that one. Patton close by as well, providing some of the influence. But it's going to stay, or it's rather going to go in the direction of Bloomington. And again, Bloomington, you're talking about the interesting decision to keep Rose in the game. They're up by 3, but they don't want to give up the lead. They don't want to risk that. They want to be able to hold the lead and use Rose as much as possible, play her as much as possible.
Yeah.
And I think that the 5th foul, it'll eventually happen, but as long as Bloomington is able to continue getting the job done and holding on to the lead, they might not necessarily need her for the final minute or so.
Yeah, it's trying to keep the foot on the gas right now. Again, after trailing most of the first half, other than that 1-0 lead back at the start of the game, and now they've been leading almost the entire time here of this second half. After Normal West briefly grabbed it for a second, then the Purple Raiders got it right back. But trying to think what the largest lead for both teams is. I'll have to, again, we don't have live stats in front of us, but I don't think
it probably had to have been in the first or second quarter.
Led by more than 6. I think 6 is maybe about the largest lead that either team has had here tonight.
And then since the half has started, the leads have gotten even more closer. A lot of lead changes. Not many ties, though, because of the way the scores have just happened. I'd say purely by chance.
Normal West bringing that press back. This is more of a man look as Pasteur get down to that corner.
We've seen Leonard able to break the press a lot today. That play included, as we see Shui elect to slow it down a little bit. Has Skeet behind her, but decides not to pass to her. Passes to Embry instead. The short jumper is going to rim in and out. That did everything but go in.
That was a nice shot there from Embry, and you'll take those shots anytime down the court.
The 3 is going to, from the corner, is going to be airballed a bit long, but Patton's going to come up with it. Quadruple teamed, and then that's going to be a timeout from Normal West. Just making sure that they regroup and get the ball in a sideline out of bounds, where maybe you're not going to have a player guarded by 4 white jerseys.
Sure, yeah, and also tiptoeing the sideline as well. I thought that there was going to be maybe a foul call there, but no, it's a timeout. And this last 5 minutes, they're going to be big. Again, we talked at the very start of the broadcast, going back. We hit the air about an hour or so ago. This is made it seem okay. It's a conference matchup, obviously. It's across a rivalry game, but, it's still early in the season. I think this game, it still has a lot of meaning to it, because, again, both these teams trying to, build momentum with a young squad. They're both, sort of right in the thick of things in the Big 12. Normal West is 2-1 in conference play. Bloomington is, I believe, 1-2. Actually, 0-2, rather. They've losses to Richwoods and P&D. But, still hanging in there right in the middle of the conference. So I think there's a decent amount riding on this game for a, game in the middle of December.
And especially considering the last matchup that Bloomington won by such a large margin. They won 52-29. Normal West, they come into this game with a lot to prove here at Robert Frank Gymnasium, as you could consider this to be a redemption game for them if they win, and even if they end up not coming away with the W as the visiting team, they can still walk away with this game proud that they made it a much closer game than last time.
Yeah, we'll see how this final 4:38 plays out. But, we mentioned, Normal West, they're on a hot streak, winning 3 straight. Bloomington trying to get rid of a 3-game losing streak, so we'll see if both streaks end tonight or they stay the same, which if Normal West wins, both teams would continue their trajectories.
Bloomington able to get it past half court, but it looks like it's going to be a bit of a hand check there on Johnson. Guiding Shui with her hand and her arm just a tad too much there.
Now Normal West has got 3 team fouls here, 4:33 to go. If I'm Bloomington, I'm going to try and get down low and try and draw a foul.
Missed from Leonard there. as she went up against the taller Patton. It was a good shot, but just ultimately didn't go in, as Smith hopes to rein another one in, but is unable to. The ball is bobbled. Sideline out of bounds in favor, or rather baseline out of bounds in favor of Bloomington, and that's going to be another timeout with 4:16 remaining.
Yeah, that three there from Smith, the way she's been shooting tonight, you thought it would probably go down. She's got 3 of them to her name and 14 points in total. So again, if you're Bloomington, you don't want the ball in Smith's hands behind the arc. You probably don't want the ball in Patton's hands down low, as I think those are probably 2 of the biggest things to focus on for the Purple Raiders right now.
And coming up, looking to the upcoming schedule for both of these teams. For Normal West, they're facing Hyde Park on the 27th. They have quite a bit.
State Farm Holiday Classic
the State
game,
Farm Holiday Classic game, 9:30 p.m. game, late night. Late
State
night
Farm
affair
after
there.
dark.
I mean, hey, not necessarily 3 a.m. Jake State Farm shenanigans. However, 9:30 still enough, especially for the high school level. Meanwhile, for
Jake from State Farm at 3 in the morning.
For Bloomington, you've got a 10 a.m. game versus Pekin. The Galesburg game at 2:30.
That Galesburg team very, very strong. That'll be
both games slated for the same day, a bit of a double header.
I'll do that. I'll have to look at it. It's probably a little bit of a, I think probably a shootout of some sorts that Bloomington is at. Maybe facing, looks like they're facing Pekin in the morning, Galesburg in the afternoon, and then again, Kankakee will kick things off for them at the State Farm Holiday Classic. Then coming out of that, they go to Normal Community, who we mentioned, very good team. They are sitting near the top of the Big 12 thanks to Olivia Corson and company.
And that one's going to be almost fumbled out of bounds. Miscommunication between Shui and Skeet there. As you see, not many points have been scored these past few minutes from either team. Definitely teams putting their feet down, grinding their teeth to hopefully come away with the win, as we see Patton with her first 3-point attempt of the day. Maybe expanding her range a little bit, but a few offensive rebounds in a row from Dodge, none of them able to fall, but she ends up drawing the foul.
And Dodge kind of got lucky. She wasn't in good position there. Their second shot hit the bottom of the rim, but got hacked by a Purple Raider. And, offensive boards can usually lead to points, whether that's via just a second chance field goal, or also if you're down low, you have the opportunity to get fouled.
For Dodge, she's been active on both sides of the floor, talking about the chase down block. She's been very aggressive in driving to the basket. Has had some struggles with keeping the ball in her hands. You've seen her get stripped a couple times, leading to Bloomington baskets, but she's able to make the free throw there to cut the lead down to 2.
That's a big one for Normal West. Now you don't have to get a 3-pointer just to tie. You can settle for a 2 and tie things up. Near travel there from Shui.
Looks like Bus is gonna get fouled there. She's holding her head. Looks like she's gonna be okay as she's taking the inbounds.
It'll be Upton's 3rd, Normal West 4th. So now Bloomington is gonna be in the bonus the rest of the way, and thought that was gonna be the 5th foul there with Birchie potentially getting a piece of her, but from our angle,
she took a few too many steps before taking that first dribble.
Looks like a foul initially from our angle, but down the floor, obviously, it's probably a lot different.
And that is going to be
a 5-second call.
5-second call. Not something you see very often at this level. Not that it doesn't happen, it does. It just doesn't always go called necessarily.
Or rather, a 3-second call, my mistake. But, yeah, came down in the lane there for 3 seconds. And again, yeah, you mentioned, not really a common call, but, if you're a referee, you see it, you got to call it, especially in a close game.
Shui not able to get that one to go, but the offensive rebound by Embry. Barr with the miss, able to get her own miss. Another shot from about the same spot. Short once again. Looks like she was moving a bit on that one. And Patton's going to throw the pass above Dodge's head. Went through her hands a little bit as Embry is going to be holding her mouth there.
She got a elbow or a arm to the jaw possibly. Looks like she's all right. She's going to check out though and regroup. Is now Rose back in for Bloomington. They took her out for a bit, but now that's an impact player back on the floor for the Purple Raiders.
And in the time that Rose was out, they only got outscored 1-0.
Yeah.
You got Coach Michael Harrison there from Bloomington. Not very happy on that one. Looked like he's a bit frustrated that his players were not moving the ball around as quick as he would like to.
Yeah, that was, he was upset about something there as yelling at his team. He's going to try and talk to him here again. Bloomington holding a little bit of a tenuous lead. Normal West has had their chances. They just haven't been able to, convert any of them to either tie or take the lead in this one. I think both these teams really have, slowed down offensively as Embry's going to get escorted back to the locker room by the trainer. So hopefully she's all right. Hopefully her night is not through, but that could be a possibility. So now Rose is probably going to be.
It's also entirely possible that she maybe lost a tooth even, or her tooth got knocked loose, because I don't think she was holding her jaw. It looked more like the mouth-ish region.
Yeah. I don't want to speculate again. Hope she's certainly okay. It's been, again, a very physical game so far.
As we saw Olivia Patton on the other side, the other 44, go out a couple times as well, but ultimately coming back in, as it looked like it was just minor bang-ups.
Good defense there from Normal West. They almost got a turnover, but now commit their 5th foul. That'll go on Dodge. That's her 2nd, and that will send Skeet to the line with the opportunity to make it a 2-score game.
And in this game, the free throws, they kind of went away a little bit in that 3rd quarter and for most of this quarter, but now as the bonus begins to come into effect, we might start seeing more. However, Bloomington has only committed 2 fouls in this quarter. Very disciplined, clean game.
Yeah, Bloomington's played a pretty good game defensively and haven't been in too much foul trouble.
Birch coming down the floor with it. Smith thought about it, ultimately gave a little bit of a pump fake. Dodge driving in out to Patton. Patton taking a 3, and that one's going to go in from the top of the key, as that is going to send out quite a cheer in the crowd, especially from the Normal West fans.
That's a big-time bucket from a big-time player in Olivia Patton. I mean, anytime you can have, at any level, whether it's the college NBA, you can have your forward or your center, shoot the 3 ball. As Embry is now coming back into the Bloomington huddle, so she may be all right. But
it's 40-40. We're all tied up here. One of the first ties of the game, actually, when you look at it. Just 2 minutes left. Really, this game can swing either way. Just 1 or 2 plays might change the outcome of an entire basketball game. These players, they've been sweating it out for 37, rather.
Yeah, no, it's been
for quite.
Gotta do the math.
For quite some time, yeah.
Nearly 30 minutes.
Nearly 30 minutes there.
At least of action.
30 minutes of action. 30 minutes of stoppages as well.
Again, go back to the first half again. A little bit of a stop-and-go game. Not really a track meet by any means. But, both teams have done a pretty good job of just rolling with the punches and, taking what's given.
Both of them kind of shied away from it a little bit in the 3rd quarter, but as the 4th quarter has come around, both teams beginning to not really take as many risks, go for more calculated plays and strategy. We've seen less 3s attempted by Normal West, even though that was something that was working for them in the 3rd quarter. As we see Rose, she came back into the game, hitting the mid-range to break that tie, up 42-40.
Big-time shot there from Rose. Now some pressure on Normal West. Again, no need for a 3 here. Just get something high percentage.
Patton is going to turn around and take a jumper.
I think that may have been That indeed was Rose on the defense. That would be 5 on her, which means that her night could be through. It is on Rose, so that'll be it for the star player for Bloomington. She exits with, or rather, no, that's her. They're saying that's her 4th foul.
Yeah,
Right.
we have some Normal West fans calling out
that's
5.
5, yep, and indeed. One of the rare times that the booth is right over the people on the scorer's table. Usually it's the other way around.
Patton hits that first one. Hitting this next one will be very important as it ties the game up if she were to make it. And she does. She experienced some free throw struggles earlier on in this game, missing a few. Perfect on that trip. Perfect when it matters as well. As Skeet comes up the floor, little bounce pass to Buss.
Bloomington's done a really nice job of breaking presses. Now they've faced some tough looks from the Wildcats, but more often than not, they've been able to break it. Now here, just no need to rush. Get a foul on the floor. It looks like that may have been on Birch. That would be her 3rd, but Bloomington's going to the line regardless.
And Birch not quite sure of the foul there. She kind of stood around looking a bit confused. As remember that bonus, making fouls all the more painful. And every free throw is going to matter here.
The silver lining for Normal West is, obviously you could, let Bloomington, kind of, pass it around, get a, more lengthy possession there, which could end up in a basket. You never know what would happen, but, you get points with the clock stop, you get an opportunity to get the ball back and potentially take the lead. Nice pressure patch free throws there from Bloomington.
And a little bit of a difference is that Normal West, if they find themselves down by 2, they still can make that 3-point shot, as Leonard is going to get the tip and the steal on that one. She's kind of going to run around with it a little bit, trying to burn time, not wanting to take a shot and give Normal West the ball back, because that's going to be an intentional foul committed by Wilson on Shuey. Interesting that they choose to foul Shuey instead of Leonard, considering that Shuey was just at the line about 10 seconds ago and made both free throws.
Yeah, I think you just kind of have to foul whoever's got the ball. I think, fouling quickly is more important than trying to foul someone who, maybe hasn't shot in quite some time. But, Shuey missed the first, so regardless of what happens here, as long as Normal West can grab the board, they can still at least tie the ball game.
So you see Smith, you see Dejana Smith on the other end of the floor sitting in that corner. If there's a miss to have happened, and Patton gets the rebound.
Embry had that board in her hands, but it just lost it.
And Patton ultimately deciding to not pass it down the court to Smith, possibly because Smith was guarded, and that's going to be a foul. Shuey, with her hands on her head, not happy with the call, but that it is going to be a call on Leonard.
It's going to be Leonard's 4th on the reach-in. So now Normal West, after any Bloomington foul, they'll be shooting free throws now for the rest of it.
Patton going one-on-one with Embry, and Embry comes out of that battle victorious as she gets the rebound and forces the miss. As Shuey takes it in, looking to intentionally foul, and that is what is going to happen there. Normal West needed that bucket, and not getting it might make this game a much more difficult task for them, especially if Shuey makes one or both free throws.
Yeah, and first of all, nice job for Bloomington. They're able to kind of bleed some clock. The rest didn't call the initial foul attempt, but that's a high percentage to look for Normal West, and yeah, it's coming from the player who you probably want shooting. Patton's had the hot hand here in the second half, and she's been able to get things going down low. So I don't mind that shot. Again, just not quite lucky enough to get it to go down.
Good shot, better defense. Shuey misses the second one, keeping it a one-possession game. Bloomington up by 3. Birch crossing half court, opting to go for the 2 and making the layup.
That's the right decision for Normal West. You take what's given to you, make it a one-score game, and hope for either a turnover or maybe some missed free throws. 17.5, that could be an eternity, honestly, depending on how this game could play out. So plenty of time to make something happen. And, nice job there by Birchie, just not getting too ahead of herself. And, sometimes that can happen when you have a wide open layup. You think about it too much and you just got to blow it, but Birchie did not there. She just got 16 tonight. Or rather, no, she has 9 tonight, excuse me. Smith has 16 for Normal West.
And for Bloomington on that play, they kind of, I wouldn't say they fell asleep. I think they were trying to defend the 3 a bit more heavily than they were the layup. And in their eyes, maybe they're willing to give up the 2 if they have the confidence in themselves to make the free throws. That's the key if in this equation, as they're going to get the ball back. I'm assuming that Normal West is going to go with the immediate foul if they're not able to come up with the steal. We've seen them employ the press all game. Looks like we have a bit of maybe a pentagon press.
Pentagon, a little bit, yeah, kind of a 1-2-2 a little bit. It'll be Dodge to guard the inbound, and again, no Patton into the game right now for Normal West, so that's something to note again. And also, Bloomington's best player so far tonight, Krishana Rose, has fouled out. See who Bloomington goes to.
They're going to go with Shuey as they have gone these past few minutes, especially on that inbounds pass. And it looked like they wanted to try and force the jump ball there, but ultimately the foul was called. Looking at the possession arrow there.
Yeah, Normal West has the arrow right now.
That could be a key factor in this game that maybe the fans aren't necessarily considering, as these are going to be 2 more free throws from Shuey.
The first one looks a little bit more like those 2 that she drained not too long ago. And again, she's been tested very much at the line. Again, the junior guard. It's opportunities, games like these, opportunities like these, for a young team that really just, shows you how to win a ball game when it comes down to the wire.
And she gets that one to go, putting them up by 3 once more. Offsetting the layup that Birch made. Birch gets it over to Patton. Patton's going to drive in with it, go up for the shot, tries to draw the contact, but is unable to. The ball gets tipped back to Shuey, and Shuey pushed out of bounds, and that's going to be a foul call.
Farrell was wide open in the corner for Normal West, and Patton just didn't see her. Farrell,
I think Patton wanted to try and get the contact, maybe looking for a 3-point play there, but just maybe not the decision that you want to be making if you are Coach Darylyn Dunn for Normal West.
Yeah, and obviously hindsight's always 20/20. Sometimes you just don't, see your teammate there in the corner. But I mean, Farrell,
and it's easy to tunnel vision late game as well.
Again,
we see Shuey miss that
still
first
open.
free throw. She just needs one, and then you look at Farrell camping in the corner alongside Smith on the other end as well. Just 3 players boxing out for Normal West. But 3 will be more than enough, considering the Bloomington's not bringing any players to box out. The inbounds pass. The clock didn't immediately start at the 5 seconds, which might be a factor. Patton going for the long 3 and gets that one.
Wow.
Gets that one to go.
Unbelievable. That free throw there from Shuey ended up being the one that won the game. After Patton got that prayer at the horn to fall. My word, what an ending, Harvey.
Definitely the ending of all endings, and I pardon and I apologize to the fans watching at home who had to listen to my voice crack there just a little bit. But despite the best efforts, Normal West stayed with them for a full 4 quarters, but ultimately falling just 1 point short. Heartbreaking loss for them. While for Bloomington, you worked all game. You had to play the last few minutes without one of your best players in Krishana Rose, the senior, providing that leadership for them. Almost on the bench, providing the moral support as we see both teams walking off the floor. What do you think is a key takeaway for both teams here, John?
Oh, man, lots and lots of good from both teams tonight, really, honestly. And, Bloomington, major credit to them. You defend home court, you win a conference game against a team who, is hanging right around with you in the Big 12 right now. And you do it by 1 point, by making some clutch plays at the very end. I mean, really, it's, all good things for Bloomington. I'm sure there's some things that they want to work on as well, but I mean, just a fantastic game for the Purple Raiders, as well as Normal West, too. I know they led for most of the first half, then Bloomington kind of took over there a little bit in the second quarter, then more so in the third and fourth. But, they made plays to, stay in the game. A really good game from Pat, and she finishes with just 8. But I think, in factoring in her rebounds and everything else that she had, really nice game from her. And, obviously Normal West, like we said, they were just so close to, winning their 4th in a row. Bloomington was close to losing their 4th in a row as well. But the streaks come to an end tonight. Bloomington ends their 3-game losing streak up to 5-6. Normal ends their 3-game winning streak. They drop down to 4-8. But, really, a lot of attention in the Big 12 is on Peoria Notre Dame, Peoria High, Normal Community, and for good reason. But, you go outside of there, I think, Normal West and Bloomington, could be those teams that, can make runs and, can compete in this conference. Very impressive from what I saw from these two young teams tonight.
This is not the last that these two teams will see from each other. Definitely not for next season. Maybe they will meet again this season. Again, it depends on what happens. But that's going to do it here from Robert Frank Gymnasium here in Bloomington, Illinois. Bloomington Purple Raiders victorious over the Normal West Wildcats, 48-47. For Jonathan Michael, I'm Harvey Newcomb, signing off here from Clutch Sports Media. We hope to see you again here. Good night.